If you've ever wondered why your kindness gets ignored, your loyalty gets punished, and your efforts are never enough, you are trapped in a game you don't even realize exists. This is the very knowledge women don't want men to ever discover, because the moment you do, everything changes. This video will reveal the forbidden truths that society, relationships, and even your own instincts have hidden from you. Centuries ago, a man who questioned the very foundation of society was silenced for speaking uncomfortable truths. His words were not merely philosophical riddles, they were battle plans for surviving the complex, ruthless game of human nature. Today, we revisit those truths, but applied to the modern man's greatest battlefield: relationships, desire, and power. Out. Understand this: in the grand design of nature, women are survivalists. Their beauty is currency. Their attention is leverage. Their affection is a negotiation. A man unaware of this is not a man. He is prey. She will never tell you this outright. No, the game requires silence, compliance, ignorance. Because an aware man cannot be manipulated. Most men walk through life with a blindfold tied around their eyes, completely oblivious to the subtle yet ruthless game that governs female nature. And it's not entirely their fault. From childhood, they've been fed a carefully crafted illusion, one that says, just be a good man, be kind, be patient, be supportive, and everything will fall into place. But reality laughs in the face of that fantasy. You see, women are survivalists by design, not by malice, not by cruelty, but by necessity. Nature wired them this way. Their attention is currency. Their affection is leverage. Their beauty is one of the oldest and most powerful forms of value exchange in human history. And whether she admits it or not, whether she's even aware of it herself or not, she plays the game to win. Let me tell you a story. There was a man, Daniel, mid-30s, successful, well-educated, deeply romantic. The type of guy who believed that if he showed unwavering commitment, if he gave gifts, listened for hours, and constantly reassured her, she would stay. She would love him forever. He met a woman, stunning, intelligent, charming. From the moment they connected, Daniel poured himself into her. Weekend getaways, surprise flowers at her office, thoughtful texts every morning and every night. He was all in. Too early, too fast. And for a while, it worked. Or at least it appeared to. She smiled. She accepted. She praised him. But beneath the surface, something shifted. Quietly, dangerously. She began to pull away. Calls became shorter. Texts slower. Intimacy faded. Her presence became scarce. Daniel couldn't understand. Why? What did I do wrong? He asked himself, night after night. The truth? He didn't do anything wrong, in the moral sense. He simply played the wrong game. He offered himself completely, without making her earn it. Because here's what's forbidden knowledge for most men. Attention that is freely given holds no value. In the female psyche, what is abundant becomes worthless. What is scarce becomes priceless. Her beauty was currency. Daniel spent all of his too soon. Her validation was leverage, and she realized quickly that she had all the power. Ask yourself this: why does the man who ignores her texts get pursued, while the man who sends good morning messages gets ghosted? Why does the man who remains mysterious, unpredictable, even slightly distant, capture her obsession, while the man who makes her the center of his world gets discarded like yesterday's news? It's not evil. It's not broken. It's nature. Female nature evolved to detect power, status, and strength, not in the form of brute force, but in the form of self-control, emotional scarcity, and disciplined presence. A man who values his attention becomes valuable. A man who treats his time as sacred becomes desirable. A man who signals silently, "I am not easily won, I am not easily impressed," becomes magnetic. This is the hidden game no one teaches you. No school, no family, no society, because if men truly understood this, the entire dynamic of power would shift overnight. A woman does not love you. She loves what you represent. Your power, your status, your potential to secure her survival and elevate her status. This is not cruelty, it is design. It is not evil, it is strategy. The same way a kingdom marries for alliances, not for affection. The fool seeks love. The wise man offers value and holds power. Let's strip away the fantasy. Brutally, unapologetically. What most men call love isn't love at all. It's an exchange, an unspoken yet razor-sharp transaction of value, utility, and advantage. Harsh? Maybe. But true? Absolutely. A woman does not fall for a man simply because of who he is. No, she falls for what he represents, his strength, his status, his potential to secure her survival, her comfort, her future. It's not flowers and poetry, it's evolutionary design written into her very DNA. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a woman completely obsessed with a man who had no purpose, no ambition, no value? Rare. Almost non-existent. She may offer sympathy for a while, maybe even pretend to nurture him. But obsession, desire, long-term commitment, that belongs to the man who provides utility. Utility comes in many forms: financial security, social status, emotional stability, physical dominance, intellectual superiority. If a man offers none of these, her nature withdraws. Her instincts scream, "This is not safe. This is not beneficial. Move on." And yet, society lies to men. Just be yourself. Be loving, be kind, be there, no matter what. As if that's the key. But look closely. The so-called nice guy, the one who gives endlessly, who sacrifices without boundaries, what happens to him? He's left questioning everything. Why wasn't I enough? Because kindness without power is weakness. Affection without boundaries is suffocation. And love without value dissolves into boredom. She doesn't desire a man because he loves her deeply. She desires a man because the world loves him, because others respect him, admire him, follow him. His value in the marketplace, social, financial, physical, amplifies his desirability in her eyes. It's the reason the wealthy man, the influential man, the charismatic leader, commands the attention of women without lifting a finger. His existence screams utility. His presence radiates value. And her instincts, not her logic, respond to that pull like gravity. A king doesn't chase peasants. His value alone attracts. The moment a man understands this, his entire view of relationships shifts. No longer asking, "Does she love me?" Instead, asking, "What value am I offering, and is it being respected or exploited?" Look around. The world is filled with broken men, confused, exhausted, disillusioned. Men who gave everything, their time, their loyalty, their money, their devotion, thinking it would be enough. thinking if I just love her harder, if I prove how much I care, she'll stay. She'll choose me. But reality has no mercy for the naive. Because here's the cold truth. The man who pedestalizes a woman immediately places himself beneath her. The moment he declares her the center of his universe, he dethrones himself. His power gone, his dignity traded for crumbs of attention, his masculinity reduced to servitude. Why does this happen? Simple. Nature abhors weakness. A man who shows he is willing to sacrifice his own worth just to be chosen signals to her primal instincts. This man cannot lead. This man is not valuable. This man is not respected by others because even he does not respect himself. And once that signal is received, her attraction dies. Quietly, slowly, sometimes instantly. She may not even understand why, but her energy shifts. Cold, distant, disinterested. Ask yourself, why does the man who ignores her, who stays focused on his mission, who is slightly unpredictable, become the man she chases? While the one who constantly reassures, constantly validates, constantly serves becomes invisible? It's brutal, but undeniable. Women are biologically wired to follow strength, not servitude. A man whose frame collapses at the feet of her beauty becomes disposable. Because if he's this easy to capture, how valuable could he truly be? It's the same reason luxury watches don't go on clearance, the same reason rare artifacts are guarded, not handed out freely. Scarcity breeds value. Accessibility kills desire. The weak man, the man who tries to buy love with gifts, with endless approval, with blind loyalty, becomes a cautionary tale. He becomes the man women use, not the man they choose. She may take the dinners. She may accept the compliments. She may enjoy the attention, temporarily, but deep down, her instincts whisper, this man is not the prize. This man is trying to win me because he does not believe he is worthy of being chosen himself. There is a way out, but it's not the path most men are brave enough to walk. It's the forbidden knowledge, the unspoken law that flips the game entirely. It begins with one brutal realization. The man who offers himself too easily, who pours without measure, who chases without demand, becomes invisible. The moment you position yourself as the seeker, as the one who must prove, convince, or persuade her to choose you, you lose. You surrender the throne. You become replaceable. Because in her world, the man who is too available signals, I have no other options. I am not desired by others. I am not rare. I am not valuable. But the man who holds himself differently, who understands that his attention is sacred, that his presence is not a gift handed freely, becomes something else entirely. He becomes the man whose absence feels like punishment, the man whose presence is a privilege. Imagine this: a woman texts, no reply, not because you're playing games, but because you're busy, focused. You have a mission, a purpose, a life that does not orbit her existence. Hours later, maybe, days later, perhaps, but on your time, not hers. What does that do? It creates space, mystery, value. She starts asking herself, why isn't he chasing me like the others? Why isn't he begging for my time? Who is he that he believes he's the prize? That's the shift. You stop negotiating for desire, you start commanding it, not through pleading words, but through presence, through silence, through discipline. This isn't arrogance, it's sovereignty. You are no longer a man drowning in neediness. You become the storm, the mountain, the force that others revolve around. And here's the irony: the less you chase, the more they pursue. The less you validate, the more they seek your approval. Because human nature is cruelly predictable. What is easily obtained is undervalued. What is hard to earn becomes an obsession. She begins to realize, this man does not need me, but I want him. He does not beg for my time, but I crave his presence. That's how the game flips. That's how the hunted becomes the hunter. This is the knowledge they don't want you to have. Because the moment you awaken, the game collapses. You no longer serve. You no longer chase. You choose. You lead. You conquer. This is the very knowledge they never wanted you to have. The uncomfortable truth. The forbidden law. The ancient script that was buried beneath layers of sweet lies and sugar-coated advice. Because the moment a man wakes up to this, the entire game collapses. The world suddenly looks different. You stop seeing beauty as power and start seeing it as bait. You stop interpreting affection as love and start recognizing it as negotiation. You stop believing in the fairy tales and start operating from reality. You realize you were never supposed to chase. You were never supposed to prove. You were never supposed to lower yourself just to be chosen. No, you were meant to build yourself into something that commands choice, that commands respect, that commands desire without even speaking a word. It's why the man who walks with purpose, whose eyes are focused on the horizon, not glued to her validation, becomes magnetic. It's why the man who isn't desperate, who isn't available at her every whim, becomes dangerous, irresistible, intriguing. Because deep down, beneath the scripts, beneath the social conditioning, beneath her conscious mind, her primal instincts crave a man who cannot be owned. A man who is a mystery. A man whose presence feels like both a reward and a challenge. She starts to wonder, why doesn't he try to impress me like the others? Why does he seem so unaffected, so in control, so untouchable? The questions, they breed desire. The uncertainty, it sparks obsession. And suddenly, without ever asking, without ever chasing, the power shifts. You are no longer the man sitting at the negotiation table, begging for a seat. You are the table. You are the prize. You are the one who decides, who enters, who stays, who goes. You move different. You speak different. You breathe different. Because now, you understand. The pedestal never belonged to her. It was always meant for you. But they never told you that. They hoped you'd never figure it out. Because the moment you do, you become untouchable, unbreakable, uncontrollable, no longer a servant to her attention, no longer a victim of her validation. You become the architect of your own reality, the master of your own kingdom, the man who cannot be ignored.